So, the 10 major doctrines begin, and we begin with the doctrine, the study of who God is. So, in this, the technical term for the doctrine of God is called Theology Proper, and it's dealing with the character and the nature of who God is. So, who is God, or what is God, is a question that we seek to answer in this doctrine. And I want to begin with, there's a statement that J.I. Packer, who is one of a theologian and a scholar and an author, he asked this question: what do you mean when you say God? Or to put it another way, who or what is God to you? And that's where one is to start from. That there should be a personal thing, personal question. So when you say God, what are you meaning? Well, what's in your mind when you say God? What do you mean when you say, I believe in God? First, which God? And what do you mean when you say you believe in God? Which God? And what do you mean when you say you believe? What is the extent of that belief? What does it mean? And we need to be able to answer that question. Because there are so many popular but non-biblical descriptions of God. Because to some people, when they think about God, God is a force of life. And when you hear the word force of life, what makes life really like, yeah, for sure. But is he a force of life? Or there's more to him? There are those who look at God and say he's the ground of our living. He's the principle of love. We cannot love without God. And so, he's a principle. But is that all he is? The principle of love? Or is he love himself? There are those who say, well, he's the ultimate reality. He is the mother of nature. Some people would say he's the man upstairs. He's the man above. And he is like something that cannot be known. Right? And so there are all of these perceptions and descriptions about God. But there are also all of these different views about God. Now, we say in reality there are at least only three aspects. There are atheists who say, nope, he doesn't exist. Then there is, what's the second group? The one who says, could, if exist, cannot be known. Then the theist who says, yeah, we believe it exists, but now we're going to begin looking at all this one who say it exists. What do they truly mean? That means not everyone who says they believe in God are talking about the same thing. Because they're not talking about the same God. And sometimes even when you're talking about the same God, the meaning they are giving, the description they're having, the assumption they have about God is not the same. And like we said at the beginning, the goal is bringing our own meanings, our own assumption and everything, and bringing it in view of Scripture and letting the Bible and the Word of God inform and influence these beliefs and these assumptions and correct it. So, some worldviews, major worldviews, we've not covered all of them, there are so many, but these are the major ones. Monism. Monism says, as they talk about God, says there is one impersonal. Okay, so it's not a personal relational being. Impersonal, ultimate principle, force, or purpose at work in the universe. So there's a force that is at work in the universe, but is impersonal, is not a personal being. That's what it means. So he exists, but is not a personal being, which means he's not a relational being. He's not a person. Are we together there? Dualism says, well, there are two equal but opposite forces which opposes each other in the world. There's good and evil, mind and matter, spiritual and physical. So think of the Chinese Buddhist yin and yang. You've seen in Chinese they'll have like a circle. One side is black and one side is white. It's like the symbol of like a fish. It's like a white and black. It's like they're moving in circle. And so the idea between the yin and the yang is, so the white represents the good and the black represents the evil. And so the two forces are always in play. And so sometimes the forces of evil that represented by the black, sometimes it's almost dominating the forces of good, and then there are times when the force of good is dominating. And so the goal is to try and get to a point where the forces of good is overpowering the force, but it's you're trapped in that circle. And then so the forces are at play beyond your control. So when you're born, it depends on which side you're born in. By birth, you're already either born with the good side or the bad side. Right? So, humanism. Now, the humanists claim and at least believe man is his own God. Man is the ultimate authority. Man is the supreme being, if you want to use that word, because man is the highest of all beings, the highest of all life, and everything of such centers around human efforts and achievements. So that means no one can and should tell you what to do and what to believe in, all of it, because you are the highest. So it is man who decides. But also then, within humanity itself, your efforts and your achievement is then what brings you up the ladder of that influence. So those who have done a lot and achieved more and have more, they're up there. And so they are the more influential, popular, in control. And so at the end of it all then, it's up to you. It's on you. Work hard, achieve more, do more. You see that you're also climbing up that ladder. And so for the humanists, there's no one and there's nothing beyond the human experience, beyond man. So there's no one who is superior above the man, but a human being. We've already spoken about the atheist. Atheism just simply says there's no God. And do you notice that even this, it's a belief. It's a belief there is no God. Even though atheists will say, no, for us, we're not believers. We don't believe in anything. But when it comes to God, they believe he doesn't exist. And so then, and when you look at in all of this belief, each of them presents with it an alternative, a replacement. So atheists would say, well, God doesn't exist, so we don't believe we were created by God. We don't believe we are brought here on purpose by him. We don't believe he's in charge of all of those. Then they replace him, they give an alternative. Whether we evolved from animals, we came out by accident, the universe created us, or whatever. And so he doesn't exist, but we believe there's still a power and things like that causes things to happen, but it's not him. And so either evolution, Big Bang Theory, the universe, somehow came to being. It's a replacement. The humanist saying there's no God, but I'm the God. It's not about me. I've replaced him. The dualist, well, there's two opposite forces at work, everywhere. The moonist, he exists as impersonal, so we don't need him. Since he's not a personal being, he's not a relational being, we don't need him. We can create a system and then survive here. agnosticism, if there's a God, he cannot be known with certainty. And therefore, since he cannot be known with certainty, we don't need him. We replace him. Materialism is another view. The materialist says there are natural, materialistic forces or laws that are at work in the world which explains everything. So the material universe is the reality, and there are forces within the material universe that causes things to happen, and we can explain those things. There's nothing, there's no power, there's no being beyond the material universe. So everything is as we say it. Are we together? Number 7, the pantheist. Pantheism, pan is all, and so think of when you hear Pan-Africa, Pan-European, pan means all. So the pantheist, now remember there's theism, God, then pan, so all and then God. They believe God is everything and everything is God. So whatever you see is God. That tree right there that we're looking at through the window is a God. That is a God. That in your hand is a God. God is everything and everything is God. So all, everything that you can see and think and imagine, that exists, is a God, and God is in everything. God is in it. So God is in that tree, and God is in this, and God is in that, is in that, is in this. And therefore, because God is in everything, then everything is God. So if everything is God, which means we are gods, then why do we need another God? We are already gods. Now, some preachers who claim to be evangelical preachers actually claim that every believer in Christ has become a God. And that is false. It's heretical. God does not save us so that we become gods. Saves us and makes us his children, but not that we become gods. But so many preachers say, well, you become gods. You are now gods. Many in Uganda believe the same. And so, polytheism, believe that there are multiple, or there are different gods. And some of the gods are more significant, more important than other gods. Some of the gods are more powerful than other gods. And so the African continent, when it comes to religion and the god system, is primarily polytheist. Even though in some aspect there's the blend of pantheism and others, but for the most part, 8 and 9 defines African understanding of God. Polytheism, there are different gods. Some of them are more powerful than others. Some of them are more important than others. And so, almost in every ethnic group, every tribe, there's more than one God. And usually there is that rank, and then they'll present it at least leading sometime up to the highest supreme being. And so my brother will understand this immediately when I say Jojo Kamalu. That there were these other gods, the jocks. But then there's that highest supreme being. Now this is for the Langi people. Now, depending on, so each of these gods, at least they had some level of defining its power and influence, and sometimes even its jurisdiction. There are gods at this level that is only for that his power would not go beyond the confine of this place. And so depending on what we want to do and where, that determines which god we go to and which shrine and which priest of the shrine we go to. And then the gods for the one we would go to for blessing was not the same God that the people would go to if they wanted to punish the other one. You see that understanding? So that is pantheism. I mean polytheism, multiple gods. Number 9, syncretism. Now, syncretism is the acceptance and the combining of many different beliefs and practices and gods. So it's a blend of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever multiple gods in one place, and then you kind of want to worship them together in one place. Now you notice why I've said number 8, polytheism, and number 9, syncretism is very strong in Africa because of the multiplicity of the gods on the continent. And it's not just in Africa. I would dare say in the global south, which is Africa, Asia, India. India takes the trophy because at least they have over 3,000 gods. Right? Now, one of the challenge with this has been that in the African continent, and even in some of these other places we mentioned in the global south, that as Christianity came, without it being taught very well, there are so many people who embraced Christianity and adopted Christianity, but they never left the tribal traditional gods. And so they are now in the church, they are now in quote followers of Jesus and worshippers of Jesus, but they've truly never left the shrines. Some of them are deacons in the church, elders in the church, but there's still shrine at home. Some of them are pastors, but they still go for yearly family clan gathering for collections to take for the appeasement of the gods. That's what we call it, syncretism. You're blending everything else in the worship of one, and yet it's of different entities. And that's why so many Christians, you find they still have, those beads that usually is worn around the waist. Not for decorations and beauty, but you know what I'm talking about. You find an elder's wife has that. Pastor's children have those beads. Not bracelets for decoration, for beauty. The one that came from the judges. The one that came from the elders of the clan. Like, this one is for protection. This one is going to ensure that your children are protected, that they're safe, that they're healthy, that they grow up to becoming adults. Don't remove it. If you remove, you're going to make them die at infant. If you remove, you're going to make them become foolish and stupid. So this is going to ensure that your children, even in class, they're at the top of their class. That when wherever they go, leadership will follow them. So make sure. And so you find the pastor is having the Bible in one hand, and on the other hand is the amulet from the shrine. Syncretism. And so, one of the things that needs to happen is that we need to move beyond this and recognize we cannot mix. Remember what Joshua said to the children of Israel. He says, choose ye this day which God you worship. He gave them 5 options. At least the gods that experienced, he gave them 5 options. Number 1, he said, the gods your forefathers worshipped in Ur of the Chaldeans. Abraham and his family, and Nahor and Terah. They were idol worshippers. They were polytheists. So choose if you want to, that one. Choose and then decide and then go. Or maybe you want to worship the gods that your father served in Egypt. There were at least 10 different gods, Pharaoh being the god believed to be the god of life, who they believed in Egypt. No one will live or die without Pharaoh's permission. If Pharaoh, the king, decrees it, you'll die. If he decrees it, you live, even if someone tries to kill you. So every plague you read about in the book of Exodus, each of the plagues was directed toward one of the gods of Egypt to prove to the Egyptians and to the Israelites, these are false gods. Right? And so you say, that's the second. You want to choose the gods of your forefathers, the gods your fathers served in Egypt. Number 3, the gods you served in the wilderness. Remember, they made a golden calf, their own idols. And you remember what they say to Aaron, as for this Moses and what? And his God, we don't know what it has become, but we want our own God. And so here we have this golden apparel and all those. Use it to make for us our God. We don't want Moses and his God. And so that's the third. Number 4, it says, or maybe now that you're in the land of Canaan, you want to choose the gods of the Canaanites in whose land you now dwell. Or number 5, God Almighty. But it says, choose this day. You cannot be blending and mixing, and today you're found on the altar of the Lord, and then the next day you're the altar of Baal, and on the other day you're with Asherah, on the other day you're with Molech, and after that you're coming before God. It says, choose which God you'll serve. We need to. We cannot have that blend.
Excuse me.
Yes, son.
I'm somehow disturbed.
What is disturbing you?
And it's so common. I don't do the opening of this one I'm talking of, but I majorly see that even when you're from church, possibly embrace the child, you find like mostly the children. Something black tied around the waist. Sometimes there is a bead on it, some others they don't have. Others go further to tie the bead in part of that string. And others are just plain thread. Okay, thread, fine. And mostly they are black. And truly, even if someone has dressed well and they have gone to church, you find that during the undressing, you resist it. At least the child will move along the compound naked, and you will see that. So, what do you think? What is about that with what you're trying to tell that these beats, some of them comes from? They are given. These people claim there are certain diseases that it's protected by doing that. So I guess they believe that this is medicine. It's prevention is better than cure. You know it very well.
Okay, so let me ask this. I want us to finish on theism and theism, and then we'll take our break. So, medically, which disease is prevented by a thread? That if I put a thread, wear a thread, even if I was to cover myself, make a full clothes from thread, and then I say, okay, now that the moment I dress on this clothes made from the threads,
I I think
As far as this disease is concerned, I'll not get it.
medical people have the answer, and the new revelation have the answer.
But I think some people put threads just without beads.
Okay. Now,
Some people put threads to monitor the weight of the child.
Now, remember, I've said there is beyond wear that those who wear, and it's fashion. It's just so like I have 2 bangles in my hand. I was given this in April. I was in Kenya. I was doing trainings among the Maasai community, and at the end of the week, before we left on a Sunday morning, after ministering, they say, before you leave, we have a gift for you. It's to say, in our culture, when you see a visitor, and a sign to say that you've loved the visitor, you're thankful for the visitor, and they're welcome, and you're treating them as family. You need to give them a gift. They said, we're giving you a gift. This represent our country, and this represent us as a people group. That's why if you know the Maasai colors there, right? And so now there is, or you could even just buy. That people would just buy. You go and buy from the shop. Now this is something else. Now, if I had gone to consult one of those spirituals, leaders on the other side, and say, I need something that will protect me as I travel. I travel a lot. I need something that will protect me as I travel. I need something that will make me, have favor with people, that whenever I go, when I just speak, everyone will just say yes. I need something that will bring me money. And then the witch doctor, the priest, whichever title you want to give, however holy the title you want to give is, and then gets inside and then does some of those things, and then wills, and then comes with the bangle and say, okay, here, get this. Now, put this on your right hand. Make sure whenever you're driving, you have it on you, then you're safe. Make sure if there's that person you want to get favor from, make sure you have it in your hand. Then when you go, just shake your hand like this and then greet them, and then you get what I'm saying? Yeah. Now that has become different from, oh, here's a gift, or a bought for fashion, or you know what, I'm trying to monitor the weight of my child, and so I'm going to have, this is because I can't afford those things, but at least I'm going to tie this thread so that 3 months later I'm able to tell, is my child gaining weight and all that. You get the difference. So want to check the weight of my child. I want to see that he's making progress. So you get you got the thread and you tied it. Different with, you took your child, that child, to the judges and say, please, I need my child to be protected from sickness, from whatever, so something. And then the judges get this, and then they do those things and say those things, whatever, and then say, okay, now here, this one. Make sure it never comes out of this child's waist. Are you getting the difference? That's what we're talking about. Yes.
What if they gave you a gift and they first did those things with the gift?
Without you knowing.
Yes.
Without you know. Now, so the way this charms and amulet work is it's requested by you. And so that would only be if they were trying to do witchcraft on me. If they were trying to do witchcraft on me, that's when they'll do something like that. And the goal would be they want to do something to destroy me.
That's what I'm talking
Oh, that's what you meant?
Mm-hmm.
By the way, even with witchcraft, Satan, even though he's a very evil being, Satan also needs a purpose for them to attack you. I have prayed for people over the years, possessed, tormented, demons, all of those, and the demons would speak for living. At first we were just sent, but we were actually good. We were sent, but we did not find any reason to attack this person. Because we were told this person was too evil, wicked, done this, but we did not see it. But, okay. That's beside the point though. Now, I am confident in the God who saved me and his spirit who indwells me. I am confident that when he said in 1 John, through John the Apostle, that greater is he, the Holy Spirit, who indwells me than the devil who is in the world, I am confident that because of that he will protect me from harms and the plots of the evil ones.
Okay.
Here's the reality for all of us in this room. There is someone out there who don't like you, who wish you dead, who wish you go mad, wish you lose your job, wish you die, wish you lose your family. They do, and they are doing everything they can. Why are you still alive? Why are you still healthy? And why are you still saying, have you not gone crazy? It is God. So yes, so one perspective, yes, there are going to be people who are just evil, who will want to plot evil and use the practice of magic and all that for evil purposes. But when it comes to the aspect of worship, like we're talking about, it is, in this case, it will be if it was me who went seeking for it. Then now I am bringing, I've already sought this, and then I'm infusing it with the worship of God. You get the difference? Yeah.
There's some question I have.
Okay.
Like kind of seeking clarification. I have a friend. Every time, the dad told him that whenever he's driving, whenever he sits on a journey,
Yeah.
he should just get garlic and he puts it in the pocket. Every time. And like I was asking him, okay, what is the intention of that? To you, who's protecting the garlic or that? Oh God. Anyway, but I just want to know, like, what's that?
Well,
He buys it himself and he puts it in the pocket because the dad told him to do that.
Well, that is coming because there's already a belief probably within the culture or the system or in the family. It's probably, this one might not know, but his father knows, or maybe his grandfather before him, that they had gone and sought for protection from the gods or whatever, and they were told the way for protection, you need this. And so it is now the common. So for this one, he just knows, my dad told me, like, I can put it in my pocket as I go. But his father did not tell him everything. His father did not tell him the origin of how they started using garlic as a means of protection when traveling. He's the one who doesn't know, which means he's now involved in worship and practice of things that he's not fully aware of.
There was something still on addition to us. In the same way, like you addressed that, I believe that people have gone further to explain a few things that they do or they pick from this side, and then they bring that you can use this to tie along the child that you are protecting. And many knows it's not necessarily that I have to go to the shrine to inquire, but you find someone in a such kind comes and say, no, you have to do this. And you find yourself you've done it.
Of course,
and
the
Amora is concerned.
Yeah.
Why is it that they are black?
Why?
This guy just had this would come. Of course, there's already always going to be, you know how. So
Why do you associate black with
before formal kind of education like what we have experienced came, we had a different education system in the African continent. The informal, non-formal. And we rely so much on oral traditions in part. The ones who knew taught the ones who didn't know. So there's something that Julius Kambaraganyere said in the early 70s, about education in Africa. They say education in Africa is, paraphrasing, the older generation, one generation, he say, teaching, passing on culture, traditions, practice, and experience to the next generation, and preparing that generation to be useful in the society, to be involved in the leadership and governance of the people. And so it is coming from someone who knows the system, someone who was involved in the system is passing it on. Now, in your case, he or she might not now take you to the shrine and show you, this is where I was brought, where I learned these things from. For example, it's like, I know what you need to do for your child to be protected. And now what he's telling you, he might have even come to your house. He's telling you based on the other experience. They were the one who went and sought. And what they're telling you is what they were told they needed to do. And they did it. Now they're passing on to you. Remember what, from a biblical perspective, remember what Paul said. Paul said, I delivered to you, of course he's talking about the gospel, I delivered to you what I received. What I received, I delivered to you.
So they received this from someone else.
And so usually, at least that's how everything, whether it is truth or falsehood, evil and goodness is passed on from someone who is involved in it, who knows it, who is going to pass it on to the next person, who pass it on to the next person.
Going back to the same, what is this of bombo kayayada?
And every child at least is baby.
Not my children. Not my children. They don't know anyhow.
Somehow in our
Not even
culture,
drinking, not
we
even
don't have
bathing.
those things. We don't have
Here,
in
around
our
bombo
culture.
kayayana, what else?
At least Koja wants to say something about that. Now, the moment you mentioned Bongo Kaya, his hands went like this.
I want to
Yeah.
know bombo kayayana.
Something, I'm like learning something
Yeah.
which has been done for years and years.
Mm.
Which we didn't know, maybe they may have a background,
Yeah.
like it could be evil. You know, growing up with a kid, there's some challenges you find when you're growing up, your kid or you're a kid.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's some things they always tell us, not so, but just, the kid, just get this mix, let that kid bathe, wash the baby. In a few minutes you see the baby is there. You've not said any word, you've not said you've just licked the herb there, you squeeze this in water, you bathe the kid. There are some ways they have been telling us how we can prevent diseases, like you say, that there is certain disease, I don't know how they call it in English. Yeah, there is something, there is a disease, but it's, I don't know how can you explain that disease?
It's like having convulsions.
Yeah, but beyond that, but there is a way they tell us that just go on a bicycle, get that bottle lid, put it in a rubber, then tie the kid. For sure, it doesn't affect the kid. But don't say anything. This is a metallic thing. You get a rubber from the tube, you tie it to the kid. So there are things you've been doing.
And the child becomes fine.
Protected.
It doesn't.
Notified.
It doesn't
Protected.
anymore.
Hey, that's a
affect the
protection.
kid. It is a protection. And they tell you, once the kid is affected, you get garlic, get onions, smash them, smear the kid. I say that. So when you look at these onions we normally eat,
Yeah.
and the garlic is
you
also
eat.
something we eat.
Yeah.
And now that process of smearing the kid, is this the process of the worshiping? Is this something we don't know where it came from? So
And then the kayayana, they will tell you if you want blessings, bathe the bombo kayayana. What else?
yeah, there is those
Mix
herbs.
them and then
You see the
you
blood
bathe.
tells you, no, this is how we used to do it.
You're washing away
These days you're not
the
supposed to do
Psilani.
this. That's because
Yes.
you don't wash your kids with this. You go with the jaja, you breaks this, you breaks this, you breaks this, you breaks sometango, kayayana, all those stuffs. He brings, he cooks. Now she tells you bring the kid. washes the kid. A few days, you see the kid's skin
It's
is
okay.
getting okay.
Yeah.
It's getting normal. What now tells you it's done? So how would you explain that?
Okay,
Is
now-
that
Why?
traditional?
What?
Why?
Yeah, you want to add?
Tradition. In most cases, such kind, we tend to find them in some junction. The likes you are speaking of. And some people go beyond to clean themselves, bathe themselves in the junction, others bathe themselves from home.
No, that one is for the elders.
That is
I'm
there.
talking about the kids.
Oh,
kids you
all
bring-
the same things. Like basically, it's the same
Because the problem with the elders,
Yeah.
they tell you, are you seeing these herbs? You undress yourself in the middle of the junction and make sure nobody should see you.
And
Mm.
That
that
is
is bad.
witchcraft.
Yeah.
And then they tell you, get some money, you pour there. So that whoever either jumps or takes this money, you will take all what was on you.
will go.
I think that is
Okay.
try to differentiate.
Thank
that.
you. You have actually created both of what I was going to say. Now, at least I want us to understand first that medicine, even over-the-counter medicine, what we call processed medicine, tablets, syrups, and whatever, all of those things comes from herbs,
Yes.
from plants, from all of those things. Okay, and so of course there are like the generation that lived either before the coming the strength of the processed industrialized medication, either rich or when it was still very expensive, they learned what are some of these plants that is helpful in curing asthma, fever and flu and body rashes, and you're getting okay. And so now, if you had that knowledge, which is something that for today it's something that you probably would learn in biochemical lab class, like in a medical school, where they teach the different plants that are used in the manufacturing of different kinds of medicine, which is an example of what you're saying. The judges, those who lived before Abacus pharmaceutical was established, they were treating malaria and fever and rashes and all of those using these plants. So they know which one is poisonous and which one is not. Okay. Now, so let's say if you knew these plants, which plant would I get? For example, you see talk about moringa and so okay, so if I got, or even the name in English of this bird, aloe vera. So, for example, if you just got aloe vera and cut it, chop it into pieces, and put it in water, drain the juice, and drank it, you're actually it's going to relieve you from fever, even malaria and all of those things. Okay. Now, is there any witchcraft done there? No. You just went and got plants that the Lord created and used it in the most natural way. No chemicals, no process. Because the difference between that and what you're buying from the pharmacy is that the one you're buying from the pharmacy is this that was now processed and colors and preservatives and chemicals added onto it. Okay? So now that is different, that is natural, that is very fine. If you know it's like when you're having cough, like you're having a very strong cough and flu, and you get ginger, and if you're strong enough and you add garlic and lemon,
eucalyptus leaves,
or even then add on to that eucalyptus tree and mango leaves and all of those, and then you boil and drink. Now you need to be strong because but it's going to help you. You actually, before you know it, the cough and the flu is going. Okay, now that is one thing. But that one is very, very okay, very natural, very normal. Now, where it becomes beyond just the natural process is that example where you've given, where they're telling you now. Yeah, so it's still involving, okay, get this plant and get this plant and get this plant and mix it. But before you use it, first make sure you do this and do this and do this and say this, or be in a particular place, particular location, and do it this way at a time like this. And now that one, there's something more being added to it. Because now there, the confidence is not on these plans and the process. It is on those other recitation you're needing to make. Recite this, say this, put some money before you leave, bathe, make sure it's in the night, make sure no one sees you, get into a junction. Now there, there's an introduction of that element of spirituality. You get the difference? So if it is just having cough and, because I know you have moringa in your home and those things, could you tomorrow at least bring me some moringa leaves and all of those things, because I want to boil so I can. That one is very fun, very natural.
No, there's this of telling you, I've been having bad luck. I don't know what is happening these days. I don't see money, and I just get bombo and kayayana. Like they give you blessings, even if you pay them from the home. You don't have to say anything.
Well, they even sell those things on the road.
You don't even have to say anything.
And so now you're noticing with that there's now a belief that there's magical powers. Are you getting the difference?
Yeah, in addition to that, I used to have a brother who, when he's drinking, he would talk.
It is real.
Oh, yeah, talk, fighting. Now, when you talk to everyone, say, no. You know, when you're eating, after eating, there's this banana leaves. Just pick a piece.
Yeah.
When he's not knowing, put it under his pillow. We did it.
And
up to now, he has never talked. But we didn't do anything. We didn't talk anything. And the other thing they used to tell me, my boy was almost like 4.8 kilos.
Yeah.
Now when they say, when I told my dad about the weight of the kid was over too heavy. Now I said, no, that is something simple.
Very simple.
When we are eating, now he said, you bring the kid. He only jumped the kid to the other side. He said, things will be fine.
And before you know it,
month,
the weight
was now becoming okay. Just letting the kid jump. You see, so is it a belief? Does it work?
It is a belief.
Or maybe there are some incarnation words that
Nothing
in between.
Nothing. And they tell you,
Silent.
you know what they say? If you think it's evil, you do it yourself, and you usually do it. There is belief that they say that my wife does not give the kid to my father. There's no death that when my wife comes close next to my father, the father will die. But they'll say there's certain disease you may put into the dad of course. So you should be there saying, but some cultures you find they're okay.
Our cultures.
Yes, your culture. I bring my wife.
Under this culture, this one's culture is it even takes it beyond.
If it's a belief, then it could be so strong beliefs that it can even come into action.
He's my father.
And so there are certain things that springs from belief and practice and customs, and in part how our faith and practice revealed, even from the traditional perspective, is informed by those beliefs and customs. And so it's like what we need to finish. We need to take a break. But it's like, remember what Paul said as he spoke about idols. That idol is nothing. It's just okay. But when you believe in it and then begin attributing to this table something it does not possess, it becomes an instrument that the enemy uses. So the table is still a table, but now to you who believes it, this table has become beyond. To the one who doesn't believe, will come and even sit here, nothing happens to him, or touch and lean. But now to you who has gotten to believing, there's something special about this table. If I touch this table a certain way, something special happens to me. For you who believe, you actually experience those things because it's now not just a table, it's become an instrument that is being used. And so sometimes that is in part those practices and culture. And so I think we need to get to distinguishing, let's say from the medicine perspective as we gave, distinguishing between just going out and using the natural actual plants and all of those yourself, and then going out there and still getting those plants but attributing it to something else, and then accepting to say some things and do some things on top of just there. You're invoking some things without knowing. You get the difference? Yeah. Anyway, I want us to finish deism and theism. God created everything and allows everything to exist in accordance with his natural laws, but he does not interfere with it and is not personally involved in it. So for the deist, God exists, God created the universe, but is not involved in its affairs. He does not care what happens. Whatever you do doesn't matter to him. He's not involved personally. He's not interfering with it. So do you think? So literally it's like, he created it, finished, and said, to whom it may concern. And now he doesn't care. And then the last one is the theist, which I hope at least we are theist, and then we'll take it deeper later. Theism believes there is one personal God who is both transcendent, highly lifted up. He is immanent. He is the one who is the sovereign creator. He is the sovereign ruler and the sovereign sustainer of the universe. And so those who hold to the theistic view does so from two perspectives: the naturalistic perspective or the biblical perspective. And we will distinguish the naturalistic perspective or the view of belief in God and the biblical perspective later on. And so most of the non-Christian world religions are built either on pantheism, God is in everything and everything is God, or polytheism. There are multiple gods, and so it does not matter which one you worship. All roads leads to Rome is the idea. All the different gods, and we need it. And so whichever God you worship in the moment is determined by what you need from the gods, and then determines which God you go to. That's the idea. And so our focus throughout moving forward is going to be founded on biblical theism, a belief God exists, but that belief about this God is going to be influenced and informed by what the Bible has revealed. Okay, so let us take our break, and we will meet back here after the break. Is that okay?
Sure.
All right.
Thank you.
Welcome.